Hey YouTube, this is Giro Kaiser. I'm gonna do my deck profile today on my Dragonic Overlord deck with the 16 card G Zone. I could have done one sooner, but I was kind of holding off on it since the release of Fire's Collection and the release of Set 7 were so close. I feel like I might as well just wait for Set 7 to come out to do the deck profile. But here we go. Gonna start in with the grade 3 lineup, I guess. So we've got first for the legend, and then we have 3 greats for 7 grade 3s. I don't feel like you need to play more than 7 for the deck really to work fine. I've never really had a problem with it. As long as you can ride to grade 3 after that, you should have plenty of grade 3 access with your other cards, like your starter and stuff. So basically, as long as you can ride grade 3, you're fine. And I don't really like playing the Legion deck. I feel like this build's just more consistent. So onto that. That new rare for Overlord, when you ride it, it moves out. You ride an Overlord from deck and it moves out of soul. That card is very cool. My problem with it is its counterblast, if you're wondering about that. So for the grade 2 lineup next, I got Fornahalem. This card is an amazing tank for the deck. He's very big, especially in a deck that can't keep boosters really. You use your grade 1s for much other things, so you don't really ever get to have boosters. So a card that's like a walking tank like him is pretty cool to have. And speaking of the lack of boosters, I also play for more beat sticks 2 Burning Horn Dragons. I just like the fact that he's a 12 all by himself. And then we go on to 3 Neoflame. He's our Legion mate. That's really the only reason we play him. Other than that, I would not be playing him. And then we have 3 Dragonic Burnout. Now, most of the time, I like to run like 4 Dragonic Burnout, but with the 3 Neoflames, I want to have a balance of kill power, so I didn't want to go over the top. And I wanted to have more beat sticks like Burning Horn, so I had made some cuts in places. So, but still, between the 2 of them, they got 6 kill cards, and that leaves you also with 6 beat sticks. Into the grade 1s, we got for Lava Flow, for Protect Orb, because we counterblast a lot, and he's a Flame Dragon. We got for Conroe, super helpful card, thinning the deck, so getting more grade 3s in hand, unflipping damage, getting the grade 3 you actually want. It's just a fantastic card. And then our last grade 1, we got 2 Gojo. Gojo, he's still pretty cool. He's helpful early game. Sometimes you use him to draw a card, and that got you an Overlord in your drop zone to set up for your other plays and stuff. Or you can just use it to draw into the cards you need so you don't misride. He's pretty good. There's several other choices, but he's the one I'm using right now. And then for the starter and the triggers. So for my starter, I'm using Undux. He's very helpful. He does exactly what I want the deck to do. He just gets me a grade 3. Especially helpful in this deck when you need your Overlords for things like the Ace or to use the Legend skill. Anything's a deck by 1, so. Under the triggers, I'm doing 4 Janet and then 4 Flame Dragon crits, so for a total of 8 crits. I'm running the Janets because of Blade Master Titan. I can stride into it and then use that Janet effect to move into the soul +5 and draw. So I find the fact that I can use that effect a little bit more beneficial than just having more Flame Dragon crits, because it's not like you're ever really going to use the Legend to grab a crit anyway. So yeah. And then 4 Gatling Claw draw triggers, mostly because of his really fantastic effect. Secondly, because he's a flame dragon. And third, this deck kind of needs some draw power. While you can take away your opponent's resources plenty and stuff, and having crits is great, this deck kind of does need some help in generating card advantage so that it can do its actual plays. And then last, 4 of our Flame Dragon heal trigger. So, on to our G zone. So, I'm going to start with my G units. First, I play 1 Screw. I still like running him in the deck. He's still a really big shield. So, just 1 now. Then we got 1 Defeat Flare Dragon. This is a very cool card. And to be honest, you don't even necessarily have to use this card to reap the benefits of it. Sometimes the fact that just your opponent knows that it exists and they try to play around it so that they can't get like totally blown out by it, that hurts them by making them make worse plays. So he's a pretty cool card. Next, 2 Denial Griffins. I don't want to play 3. I feel like that's overkill. I'd rather have more options than that. But it's a very sweet card. I often do use him twice in a game, but I've never really had to use him a third. Very, very good card. He's probably the best G Guardian in the game at the moment. So good against certain decks. It's just shutting down their plays. And then last of my G Guards, I play 1 Orb Dragon. A 20 shield is still a 20 shield. It's pretty helpful still. I like having that, being able to just throw down that much shield without having to discard to use the screw effect, so still like using that. On to the G units. First, I play 1 Vortex. You don't really need to play more of one of it. This guy is pretty much always my first stride. He's a threatening attack that the opponent usually has to guard, otherwise they'll lose 2 cards. And he helps set up plays because you usually use them to flip the next card, which is Blade Master Titan. Very, very helpful card. This is like pretty much a perfect card that needed to be added to this clan to help make it better. And Vortex, being able to flip it, makes it even that much better. And the fact that he can flip anything himself. So usually it's you stride Vortex, swing, flip something, then you can have one of these face up, so when you stride into it next, you flip another one, then you can kill 2 cards and have the crit, and then you can stride into it a second time, flip another one, and then you'll flip anything, and then you'd have 3 of them face up still, kill 3 cards, and have a crit. So pretty good. He's one of the perfect things, as I said, to be added to this clan, because before the deck's always been able to like board wipe, but it didn't like mid-game put in any threats to its attacks. But now that you have a crit, you get to get your card advantage by clearing the board, and then it swings. And before they could just no guard and then use their resources from their hand to fix things. But now you're wiping the board and swinging with a crit and forcing them to guard. You're minusing their field, and then you're forcing them to minus their hand even more, even though they normally wouldn't want to guard. And then we have 2 of the Ace. Something you really don't need to do more than once a game, mostly because it's very cost heavy and kind of hard to set up for it. But once a game, he's a good finisher, or sometimes mid-game he's threatening enough if you have like a good field like 2 Nahalims, you can just bring him in mid-game. Then we have 2 Novell. Very strong card, guard restrict, won't let the opponent heal at 5. Should usually save this card till your opponent is at 5 to bring him out. That way, if any attack hits, they lose. You could run more than 2, but I really don't feel the need. As I said, I usually save it for when they're at 5. I'd rather have other options. And then my deck is different than some. I'm playing 2 Root Flares. Now, before, I used to run like one Mustafa, and I've even considered and playtested running 2 of it. But I instead went for Root Flare. Now, a lot of people are moving away from Root Flare. The reason I've chosen to play it is, in my experience playing this deck is very counterblast heavy, especially now so with your G Guardians, because they have the counterblast to use your blow up effects. So even more so now, it can be hard to manage your counterblast, and sometimes you just need to be able to stride and do something without having to counterblast for it, and that's where this guy is helpful, that he can kill 2 cards as well as just swing. And he does it without a counterblast. That's why I'm running him. So, I should mention, I did get to play the deck over the weekend after the stuff came out. I went undefeated in that tournament. Had a lot of longer games, but I feel like there were games I couldn't have won before like the new support with Titan and the G guards. These cards really have helped the deck a lot. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.